just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can't and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want. I'm inspired by thirst, I'm inspired by worth. I desire your worst, so you can just hide while I work. I ain't tired, you first. I'll write a second, third verse.
Welcome to the third edition of YEAMOb by Plus. Here, big names from the game development industry need to keep you updated on this amazing universe. During 3 days, more than 40 guests gathered to present talks in 3 languages in a super online event, open to the entire community. Share this content and help the independent game development ecosystem to stay warm. Subscribe to our social network and enjoy YEAMOb 2022. Be our +1.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the day 2 of the 3rd edition of YEAMOb made by Plus. I'm Guilherme Gonçalves. I'm co-founder of Hermit Crab Game Studio. We're a studio based in Brazil, which works with publishing and development of games for the sports world. This was our starting point in this industry. So today we develop official games for brands like Paris Saint-Germain, Arsenal, Manchester City, Benfica, and Barcelona. In addition to that, we have a publishing front where we currently have more than 120 games for the premium mobile market. And more recently, we have entered this Metaverse thing with everything. So we have a very solid partnership with some metaverses like the Sandbox, for example, where we have our own experiences, but also experiences for big brands on this platform. So the Sandbox is, just to give a little context, Sandbox is a virtual world where players can build, own, and monetize their gaming experiences in the blockchain. And today we're going to be talking about Metaverse. I'll be mediating this panel to talk about a very promising possibility of existence, right? So what is Metaverse? So for that, I would like to welcome to our virtual stage our guests. So guys, please welcome Oren, Nicolas, Eli, and Yingzi. How are you guys?
Good. Doing good. Thank you for the invite.
Hello, everyone.
So please introduce yourselves very quickly.
Ladies first.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to the show, and thanks for the invitation. My name is Yingzi Yuan. I was in video game industry for a couple of years as well, specifically for innovation part, doing at the same time research and also open innovation project with startups and different technological companies in a bigger AAA game studio. And actually, Metaverse has been the research topic and also R&D prototyping topic for around 2 years. So quite familiar with the whole context of Metaverse. In the beginning, we didn't actually call it Metaverse, right? So happily founded, and is currently building also Metaverse Summit, which happened actually this year in July in Paris, and also we are trying to collaborate with all the communities around the world to actually build this whole thing internationally together. So happy to share some thoughts and some key learnings with the co-panelists here.
Nice. Thank you, Yingzi.
Maybe I'll give the mic to Oren.
Okay, thank you. I'm Oren. I'm located in Cyprus, currently visiting Georgia. I'm a software developer by my history. When I was in 1989, I was 17 years old. I started to work for an Israeli game development company. And since then, I mostly developed software, not always games. That was only in the beginning. But then I switched to managing projects and companies and stuff like that. I'm a serial entrepreneur. And in 2012, by the end of 2012, I was introduced to blockchain technologies. And I created one of the early protocols on top of Bitcoin, and then continued mostly to deal with blockchain technologies. Created the fund in 2000.
I think we lost Oren for a bit.
Yeah, he's froze for me too.
Yeah. So please, can you introduce yourself, Eli?
Yeah, sure. All right. So hey guys, my name is Eli, or people in Brazil call me Eli. Whatever way is fine. And I come from an IT and technology background. I spent my fair share working with IT projects. So I worked for global companies such as J&J and Mars. And I've spent around 10 years down that path, developing global IT projects for those companies. And then later on, I decided to open my own marketing agency, and that was about 4 years ago. And then eventually I started going towards this Metaverse path, right? Which I could clearly see was going to be the next big thing in terms of marketing and in terms of entertainment as well. And so slowly we started researching a lot about the Metaverse, about augmented reality, virtual reality, NFTs, and the Web3 tech stack in general. So we started slowly here at the agency, and then we fully pivoted into focusing on the Metaverse, and that's where we are today.
Great. Thank you, Eli. So how about you, Nicolas?
We can't, I'm not able to hear Nicolas.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Nicolas, you don't have your microphone.
So while Nicolas is getting ready, I think we can get back to Oren.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, the Georgian internet maybe didn't like what I said, but right now it looks okay. So I'll just briefly say that a year ago we founded Totem, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO owned by the people who run it and create it, which is mostly independent game developers. So our whole deal is to help independent game developers and bring them together to a community that works together to create games while bringing players to play those games in a very elaborate Web3 scheme that maybe we'll talk about it later if we'll have time.
Great. What a background, guys. It's awesome to know a little bit about each other. So let's just start from the beginning, right? As this metaverse concept is already incorporating Web3 technology enabled through blockchain technology, and the premise that is sold is that the future metaverse would be something very similar to our real world in so many aspects, right? So I would like to ask you guys, metaverse, what it is?
Yeah. I'll go first, I guess. So for me, like, it's really one of the topic we try to figure out, right? During Metaverse Summit, because people are coming from different background. The understanding of gaming people are so different from the understanding of, blockchain native, let's say. I would say from my point of view and from my background, it is really like the convergence of different avant-garde technologies. During the last couple of years, we've seen like the emergence of the new tech, which actually allowed, as mentioned also by my co-panelist, the tech stacks of Metaverse, not only real-time 3D synchronization, but also the infrastructure level of, the mature tokenomics, well, still under exploration, of course, and also among so many other different techs. And AI is also soaring every day. So I believe we are really looking at what we can call like a tech convergence among all the business terms and artistic terms that we can call Metaverse, of course.
I think that's a great definition, Yingzi, because for me, the literal translation of the word metaverse, it's enhancement of the already existing universe, right? So I think the metaverse is basically the Web3 tech stack, which is NFTs, AR, VR, edge computing, 5G, 6G, all coming together in order to create the ultimate experience that is going to enhance the way that we live nowadays. And so in that sense, I think the technology, because nowadays the technology is already very present in our lives, right? Everyone has a cell phone, everyone is connected 24/7. And the cell phone has basically become like an extension of your body, right? It records your memories, it has your contacts, you use it to get in touch with other people, you use it for several purposes. And so in that sense, I think the metaverse is going to enhance the human body even further and take it up a notch in that sense of like really enhancing our capabilities, enhancing our capability of communicating, enhancing the stuff that we can do, but also like our lives in general, our experiences in our lives. And so that's why I've been looking at the metaverse from a marketing perspective, because it's definitely going to change everything. But if you look at it, like, it's definitely something that I generally believe is going to change everyone's lives in that sense.
I would argue that metaverse is a very kind of umbrella term covering a lot of aspects. So I wholeheartedly agree with both Yingzi and Ellie, and I think there's no like incorrect definition. The definition that I would like, though, is that to bring another thing to the discourse is the fact that we kind of always had the internet always had the internet. So basically, we already had a place that connects everybody, which is a verse that everybody can use and share. But I think that the speak about the metaverse in the last couple of years, 2-3 years especially, come from the fact that blockchain technology specifically brought something new to the table, and that's the monetary ability to have a decentralized monetary system inside this.
Okay.
Yes,
sorry,
Nicolas.
Yeah, you can hear me now. I'm really sorry. Like, I'm in the hotel, so I need to fix like between like phone and. So we are in the metaverse, but not really ready yet. Like we are just like surfing with laptop and phone. So sorry, guys, and hello.
It's okay.
So
Hello again.
Yeah. So I great to have you, Nicolas. So I would argue that just as the internet is here it's here to stay, mostly because it's decentralized, mostly because no government or body can control it and block it. Actually, you can say North Korea blocks it, but it actually blocks itself out of the internet in a lot of cases, China to a degree. In the same way, blockchains are here to stay and provide monetary solutions that are completely decentralized and that no one can control them. And I think you bring this kind of internet money and the internet together, then you can create these amazing metaverses that cover indeed so many attributes, like what we do, how we play, art, everything and everything else. So that's my view on this.
So yeah, Nicolas, I think now you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, is it working? Because I'm just like so scary
Yeah.
that it's not working anymore. All right. So cool. Thank you guys. First, to be here and like to make this happen. So my name is Nicolas. I used to from France, from Europe, and basically my background is I've been working for a long time for different kind of brand like Walt Disney, Warner Bros, and creating like a physical and a digital experience since like around 10 years. So I was doing this in Hong Kong, etc. And on the same time, my background is I've been playing more like than 20k hours on MMORPG, and I've been like be a pro gamer like for a while back in the days when we was not earning that much money by playing video game, but it was like more just a geek way to go. So like when we talk about metaverse, like I believe that this is all you project your mind and yourself into a digital world, so we have been doing this since age with MMORPG, etc. So yeah, so now I'm mostly working. I'm a co-founder of Utopia Metaverse, so it's a play to earn game where we want to engage with the customers, and we want to give this new possibility to play a game, to go into an adventure, and on the same time earn money and living off your passion and sharing this with all other people. On the same time, I was the CEO of a working meta, so I'm building Metaverse. So what I mostly do is to find out what is the best way to go. Like, for example, depending on the technology you want to use, like pixel streaming, WebGL, WebGPU, etc., Unreal Engine, Unity. So, like we all have different and many ways to go to build this metaverse. So this is why this is also very interesting to get interest with this open metaverse thing. Like how we can make a full standard of the metaverse. How can we make this accessible for everyone? And how can we all together build something very new, of course. So this is a bit the mission, is to give the access and the possibility to the mass adoption, and so we can all build our own experience with our own mindset, but using the same tool, so we can be interoperable to each other.
Yeah, great, Nicholas. Great words. So just let me ask you guys, how did you get into this new universe? I mean, how did this come to you, and at what time exactly?
Can I answer this one first?
Sure.
For me personally, it was as I said, since I started my marketing agency back then. When I started my marketing agency, I recall that the Amazon devices and Alexa and all that stuff, like it was becoming really popular, especially here in Brazil. And then I recall like doing a lot of research on that, and then thinking like, okay, so if this is the big thing right now for marketing, like and for entertainment and whatnot, then what is the next big thing, right? And I've always had this like really special feeling towards virtual reality, and I've always wanted to see it come to fruition, right? So that's how I started researching about virtual reality and augmented reality a little bit further. What got me into the metaverse, right? So a little bit later on, I decided to start my podcast, Metavertising, which you guys can find on Spotify and iTunes, and then interviewing experts in the metaverse industry to understand it further, which brought the insights for me to pivot the agency into a full metaverse agency, right? And so so that was it for me. And then I recall when Mark Zuckerberg did the announcement of like taking Facebook naming into Meta, it was clear that a lot of people were going to jump in as well. So it was like the perfect timing as well. So yeah, so that's it for me.
We want to go after.
Go ahead.
You can go.
All right. So like I just said before, this is about like an invisible world, right? So we have to imagine the frame of the metaverse. We have to project ourselves into what is a metaverse and where it's come from. What I believe is that the metaverse is going to be user internet. So the internet connect all of us to each other. All right. So this is something that is already exist, like a réseau that allow us to whatever in the world we come from, we can connect to each other anytime to share, to build, and this is the power of internet. The metaverse is the way that we're gonna do this, but with more sensation, more experience, and with these new technologies that allow us to define new roles. But what it brings us there, I believe that we all, I think we all trust that this invisible world, it's very important. It's very important to connect to each other, and this kind of imagination thing, like, oh, you can connect and speak with the other. It's like I was talking about video game, and I think this is why we are here, because like video game is like one of the first thing, like massive multiplayer gaming, like World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, Dark Age of Camelot, like since like back in the old day. This kind of game was like, okay, so you have an avatars, you get into a world, and you share your experience with the other people. You have your own economy, you have your skins, your assets, your mount, your mansion, and you live your life, you live your experience into this environment, right? And you share this experience with the other, and you create a guild, you create a band, you create a group, and you be together, and you go fighting dragons or whatever, So I think it's like this is for 90s kids like me, it's not just normal way to go, like this is like just fucking normal. This is what happened now. Like this is like just evolution, before we was like in a video game. Now this is the video game. Like, the real world will come in the video game industry. This is what one of the process, for example, with Utopia, we're working on, you go on a journey, you're gonna an adventures, but on the same time you have a small shop, and you can order like some food, or you can order some clothes, and you will this product will come physically into your house, to your apartment, whatever. So if we imagine where this all come from, I believe this has come from the imagination of all of these young generations that evolve with the game industry, with the projection and the creation of internet, new device, etc., etc. And now what is making the thing going one more step up is these new technologies that are coming away with the blockchain, with the VR, with the AI, etc., etc. So all of this technology have been already exist since like maybe 10, 20 years, maybe less, more or less, but it wasn't ready, it wasn't ready yet. But now we live something very interesting, because we live the time of all of this technology become more mature at the same time. So this is what allow us to imagine this new age of the digital age, we'll say, this metaverse thing. I didn't really answer the question, sorry.
No, it's good. Great words, Nick. So, Yingzi.
Yeah, sure. As I briefly mentioned, Metaverse has been kind of the topic that I was observing for the past 2-3 years. In the beginning, I was calling it more like a virtualization, including all those services, B2B, or entertainment content that is B2C, let's say. Totally agree that Metaverse has been inevitable because people need content, right? And now there are more and more tools and platforms that actually allow people not only to be a passive content receiver like a Netflix watcher or game player following the quests, right? But also allow people to actually create their own virtual environment, providing services, peer-to-peer transaction, etc., etc. There's so many things that we can do, and it has been inevitable also because of all the weak signals that we can observe during the past couple of years, as we all mentioned, the tech stack. So in the beginning, I really entered from the point of view of virtual avatars called virtual beings, or in the beginning, there were a lot of VTubers, virtual YouTubers. It's also really about the human elements. People want content interaction, and real-time interaction is very important. So I think, like from my point of view, it's really inevitable.
I would say that I chose this project about a year and a half ago because I saw the emergence of Web3 companies and decentralized autonomous organization, and I thought that the gaming industry, and specifically the indie gaming industry, is something that can be really helped by these concepts. And I want to give maybe a tiny example. And I want to mention something that Nicolas said. And Nicolas said, you have your sword, you have your clan, you can whatever. And I think it's absolutely correct. I think the thing that was missing 10 years ago, and now we can start solving, is that your sword is not actually your sword. So if I'm playing CSGO and I have a knife, it's not really my knife, it's just the knife I use. And even if I bought it for $20, it's still not mine. I cannot take it away and do it something else. Worse than that, the developers can decide that this dagger is too strong and decide that it's making so next week it will have only half of the power. I think that a real metaverse solution can allow the player to actually own and have full ownership on his asset. And part of it means that he can have these assets and use them in different games. And that's part of the things that we're doing in Totem. And we're creating a platform where a player can purchase an asset, own it, and use it in several games. So, and we currently give grants to indie game teams around the world, many in Brazil. And so I just want to mention a small example. We have a game from Brasilia, I think, called Dreadstone Keep. And that's a game developed in Brasilia, which is a kind of 2D dungeon crawl roguelike game. And there's another game created in the other side of the world called Project Dino, where you go and basically excavate dinosaur bones and create dinosaurs in your dinosaur park. And that's you cannot describe two more unrelated games than that. And both of these games are sitting on the Totem platform. But what it means that if I'm buying the tool in the Dino project that allows me to excavate, the same tool become a sword in the dungeon crawler that was made in Brasilia. And even more than that, this project kind of collaborate in a way, because if you find an egg of a dinosaur and hatch it in one game, you finally have a dinosaur that goes around you when you crawl the dungeon. So that opens up so many interesting things for indie game developers, because in the end, indie game developers want to have their own very personal experience that they bring, if it's in the development, in the game mechanics, in the art, many times. It's not like a cookie cutter AAA kind of deal that you work on it 3 years, looks like just a little bit better than the previous one, something like that. It's really personal way to interact with the world and create this wonderful little world, because every game is basically like a world that we enter into. So allowing these very personal games to still be this personal game and be completely on their own, but interact with other games and allow the player have a real experience where they own something and they can decide what to do with it in different games. I think it's a wonderful thing that the metaverse can suddenly open up for everybody.
And if I can jump just quickly to just what Oren say, and behind this we have like with the blockchain also we have the way to empower indie developers, because like back in the day when you want to be a gamer developer, so you want to develop a game or whatever, you need like, okay, you have Steam, but or you just like maybe can cross the fingers that is going to happen, But now with the blockchain economy and with this interoperability economy, so it's called the creators economy. With this creators economy, we have the way to, as the indie developers, people can empower the game and can starting by selling some products, some NFTs or whatever, like if they have the community. This is why we talk about Web3 and community. This is very important because like as a developer, you take this example very, very well. As developers, now, if your project find its community, you can crowdfunding your indie game with this NFT system and this NFT economy, and by collabing also with other game, we're creating this interoperability, so people will want to buy this token, for example. So this is something that like just 10 years ago, we didn't have it. Like if you want to be a game developer, you need to go to work to Blizzard or etc., etc., etc. Because if you want to have your game, like low chance that is going to work. But now with the blockchain, it's not just about like making money. It's about making possible to have some games that, if it finds a good community, don't need to go in the normal réseau. It just can be himself. He can be empowered by this community and by this blockchain system, and bridge can be created between all of different games. So this is the creator's experience of the metaverse that is going to be like just amazing. I mean, imaginary people, talented people, designer people, all of these people that before we didn't see them, they just work behind big brand or big stuff like that. Now they can be free. Now they can be autonomous. And this is what the Web3 and the metaverse will give to the people. And this is unbelievable. This is very powerful, and this is amazing, I believe.
Yeah, and you brought us great points here, because in my opinion, I believe that the concept of metaverse is essentially the building of community, for example, right? Because at the end of the day, the greatest power of this tool is to create, retain, and reach the most diverse community possible. So yeah, this is a good point. And we have a good question here from our audiences. Which is we're all still learning how to work with it yet, don't you think? How metaverse or metaverses is actually going to influence our life differently than games have already done? Who wants to go first?
I totally agree that it's still work in progress. We are talking with excitement, of course, of all the progress, but of course in the developer community, especially indie game community, there is still skepticism. We can see that a lot of tokenomics can be improved in blockchain gaming. Like the whole gaming mechanism is still very simple model in all the play to earn games. So it's not what the end users, like the gamers, are expecting either, as a mature and AAA photorealistic gaming experience. So it's for sure work in progress. And the second part of the question, I think we are expecting what we all mentioned, the creator economy, meaning that it's also like giving the keys to everybody. It's creating the open source infrastructure that allow developers to develop more freely. There are many initiatives around that, constructing the infrastructure and also the standard, right? There's a Metaverse Standards Forum, and also in Metaverse Summit, we are trying to have an open discussion because we're in the very early stage. And also for the end users, they can also do a plug and play kind of gaming environment setup, allowing kids to create their own games in Roblox is the first step, although it's not based on blockchain assets, right? So what we are seeing is really, in the end, a work in progress, but it's moving very fast.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more with Yingzi. I think we're definitely still trying to figure out how to work with the metaverse, because there's a lot of problems to be solved still. Like when we're talking about combining all of those new technologies, which I call the Web3 tool set, or maybe the Web3 tech stack, there's a lot of challenges that come in place. So my co-panelists have already mentioned the issues of interoperability. So if you have a sword in a game and you want to take it to another game, you really can't. You don't own that sword. It's not really yours. It belongs to the game. You can sell inside the game. Maybe you can make some real life money out of it, but that's not the reality nowadays. So one of the biggest premises of the metaverse, it is to be interoperable, right? So anything that I do in a metaverse is also valid in different metaverses out there. And so that's one of the biggest premises. And to work with that, to get that to work and to get that functional, it's really, really hard. So Yingzi mentioned the Metaverse Standards Forum, which is one of the initiatives that is happening right now in order to try to address this issue, because it's definitely one of the biggest issues. So yes, we're definitely still working with it, like learning how to work with it. But like, I don't think you made a comparison, Danilo, with games. And while I do believe that there are some games that are like, I would call like the first few iterations of what the metaverse would be. Like Yingzi mentioned Roblox, for example. Roblox, you can just create your own experiences there, and you can monetize them. And there are people literally becoming millionaires out of Roblox, right? So yes, you definitely can create some experiences in Roblox, and you can make money out of it. And it's, in a way, it's interoperable inside of Roblox, right? So so I think games in that sense are becoming kind of like the foundation of what the metaverse is going to be, right? But it's not, I wouldn't call like it's those are actual metaverses. What I think it's going to be in comparison to games, I believe it's going to be completely different, because a metaverse by itself, it can contain games. You know, it's just, it can be one of the elements that you can find in there. It doesn't have to be about the game itself. It can be about being social, for example, and meeting friends worldwide and being able to communicate with people from all across the globe, or maybe doing business matters inside of a digital environment. So it can have multiple purposes. I think game is just one of them. But games are definitely, you know, becoming the foundation of like what the metaverse is going to be in the future. And we're definitely taking a lot of those concepts of like games into what is going to be the future of the metaverse.
Yeah, well, you want to go, Oren? Go for it if you want.
Thanks. Yeah, I think Daniel's question is great, but I think it's almost impossible to answer it. And the reason is that, as my friend said, it's very early stage. I was very excited about the internet in 1996 and 1998 and talked about it without stop. But I couldn't imagine this. I couldn't imagine going in Tbilisi, a city that I don't know, using a map connected to GPS, is just thanks to the internet. So the way the metaverse and blockchain technologies are here to stay, and they're going to change our lives forever. Exactly how is very hard to say. But from the point I'm looking at, and specifically about games, I can see a huge two major things. One is the collaboration. The Totem community is a community of independent game developers who are already working and creating their games, and we don't instruct them what games to create. They can create whatever games they want on whatever platform they want. It's completely up to them. They own the games. We don't take any share of it. But what happens is that they connect with each other, and suddenly the games, as I mentioned in the example before, and there's tons of other examples, are kind of started to kind of talk with each other, kind of started to affect each other, and that creates a very strong vibe of connectivity that wasn't available before. And the second aspect of it is back to the economy, because what we're creating in essence, as Nicolas said, the creator economy is where the actual funds that comes from players who want to play these games go straight into the indie game developers. And if you look at the monetization problem of the indie, I'm sure all of you know that the game industry is $200 billion. 99% of the game developers are indie game developers, but they only make $1 billion. So 99% of the developers making 0.5% of the revenues. That's crazy. That's almost criminal. And the reason for that is that the monetization is just not there. And we can talk about it a lot, but the bottom line is that we need different and new monetization schemes that I think, and trying to create schemes that indie game developers can use, using these Web3 concepts and the metaverse concepts.
Can I make just a quick comment on that? I think it's also important to state that the creator economy is not just for developers, for example. Like Instagram creators in the future are going to be like metaverse creators, you know? So I think it's when we talk about the creator economy, we're talking about everyone that creates some form of content or some form of entertainment, right? So I just wanted to add up on that, because the creator economy definitely going to be huge in the metaverse, because it's going to encompass everyone. Everyone is going to be able to create content in different formats, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of money, definitely.
I think it's a great point, and indeed, when we talk about how we distribute the funds that coming from players, We talk about the game developers, the artists, everybody involved, but also, the person who stream how he's playing in the games. And because those people also bring new players to the game and they're part of this ecosystem. And the nice thing is that if I'll have to decide how exactly to split the money between everybody, I'll probably make a decent decision. But the nice thing is that it's a DAO, so I don't have to make the decision. Actually, the people in the community make all of these major decisions by voting. So if we have the indie game developers and some players and some influencers, etc., voting, we get what I believe eventually can become the best decision about how to distribute funds. As exactly as you said, all kinds of people participate in that, and that's great.
And I think if we want to go further in this, if we want to think outside the box, like what will be the impact of the game industry into the metaverse? First, it's going to be like, if you go with Unity, Unreal Engine, whatever, Polygon, material, this going to build the environment. So it's going to be the asset. So it's going to build your armor, your cars, your flying cars, your horse, your house, your whatever, So in this metaverse thing, everything gonna be made of non-binary, 1 0 1 0 1 0. So it's mean everything is gonna be built from Unity, Unreal Engine, or whatever, Maya, etc. So everything will be built as like we build video games today, So this is just massive, Like in the real life, we use rock and sand or whatever to build building. In the metaverse, we're gonna build with Polygon. Like just Polygon, just one by one, and it's going to make the metaverse. Beside this, we see also the gamification, that this is coming very, very deep into the marketing for the last 3-4 years, and it's become something more serious, and that people taking more seriously the gamification is mean the journey, the way you live your experience by just micro gaming, So the metaverse is not a game. The metaverse is a real extension of the life. So this is, what people try to build. We try to build a real tool that will allow people to earn money, connect to each other, learn, discover, etc. We are not limited. The metaverse is not limited. The metaverse is unleashed. It is unlimited. So everything that we can think as a human being, everything that we have seen on the Web 2, gonna be built in the metaverse, So, and all of this gonna be built with the tools that we build video game like today, So today we build video game, but tomorrow this is not gonna be game. It's gonna be the metaverse. So it's gonna be like the real world, the real matrix. In some way, So this is why it's so important to understand that when you have the talent to create and to build some video game in 2020, 2022. In 2030 or 2040, you will not be only a game developer. You will be environment developers, makers, someone who creates, what is amazing with the metaverse, and I've been talking with some different people, but for example, you live in some different country, and you don't have the chance to go to this amazing school or whatever, because this is too expensive, too far away, or we don't know. But now with just with a headset, you can jump into a classroom where you can, in 5 years, touch, think, get in touch with people, connect with people in a 3D environment, so it completely more immersive way, and learn. So it will don't have limit anymore. We will be limited anymore. See, this is already what is happening with the internet, but this is going to be more immersive, more completely. I believe, in the morning you can start and you jump in your office in the metaverse working with your friend. Then later on you go eat in the real life, and then you jump back into the metaverse, go do a chess party with your grandfather who live in Canada when you live in France, for example. So this is what it will. We are in the beginning of something, and like my friend said here, we cannot see what's gonna happen. We just know that this is gonna be massive, and we have this new, very important and cool technologies that is going up, and we have already started to build some stuff with it. But yeah, this is really the beginning. All right, yeah.
Yeah. That's great. So let me just go deeper on this subject, maybe because I think actually you mentioned in a very great way, Nick, talking about metaverses as alternatives to situations that demand, for example, social distancing. We learned recently that this is a powerful tool. We have this event that caused this disruption in our contemporary world, which was the pandemic, and so I think other than that, there's this I can say that desire of and maybe a need of more inclusive and more diverse society, right? So metaverse is definitely a great tool for that. So I would like to bring this point. We've been told of health projects approaching medical elements. People are way more attracted to these new realities because it is already possible to create avatars, interact with friends, shopping, meeting people, go to work or go to school or even church, whatever. So there's fashion projects in the metaverse. So it has been widely used as social hubs for several types of contents. So how do exactly games fit into the metaverse? What else do you have room for there? Is there any unexplored space that you would like to comment on?
I can go. Actually, while hearing like what Nicolas was saying, I'm also thinking about, of course, metaverse future is limitless, but now we are facing a lot of limitations, and the usage of the word and the use cases of metaverse is please allow me, it's a little bit abusive, meaning that a lot of things in the use case make sense, disrupting the business model, funding indie developers with the community, of course, like providing valuable content and entertainment to the end users, right? But a lot of use cases such as avatar, healthcare, or let's say fashion, they are becoming a little bit a marketing tool. It's fancy, it's good to hear, it's eye-catching. However, as builders, we need to also think about, okay, what actually is the future we want? Especially while Nicolas was talking, I'm thinking a lot of people who would not even have access to the basic infrastructure such as internet. How can we also allow these people with very basic, maybe mobile devices, it's very low connection, to access also some kind of maybe downgraded level of content, which a lot of games has been doing, right? To downgrade the quality, but also providing some kind of pleasure of the gameplay. So those are a lot of limitations and kind of we need to take into consideration also of how we want the future to be and how we can be part of this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, please go ahead, Oren.
No, go ahead, Eli.
I think in that sense, like I completely agree with what Yingzi said in the sense of like we're seeing many interesting use cases in healthcare, in fashion, in education, and whatnot. But I think we should always ask ourselves like, what is the real utility behind it? You know, are we developing something to get free PR? You know, like are we creating something so that we can get some attention from the market because we're doing some metaverse stuff, or is there a real utility behind it? And I definitely believe that there's a real utility behind some of the cases that we're seeing out there for even for healthcare, fashion, or maybe education, you know. But in that sense, like answering to Guy's question regarding how gaming is going to be in the metaverse, I think it's going to enhance the experience a lot further, you know, because if you think about games today, like there's already a lot of stuff, really interesting, cool games out there. You know, I'm a gamer myself as well. I love playing League of Legends, for example, Fortnite, some of the Valorant, some of the current games that people are playing nowadays. And it's definitely like very entertaining, and it can keep you enticed in there. It can keep you, in some cases, it can even keep you trapped inside of the game, right? But I think in that sense, like in the future, it's going to be a lot more immersive. You know, you're really going to be literally inside of the game. You know, and in that sense, I think it's going to enhance the experience even further. And not only that, not only the immersive part, but also like as my co-panelists have mentioned, like the gamification part and the tokenization and the creator economy and the community, all of those things are also going to become stronger, are going to be enhanced, right? So you're going to be able to make money while playing your favorite games, or you're going to be able to make even more money by streaming your favorite games, just like Twitch is doing nowadays, or maybe creating content based on your favorite game, or maybe creating content inside of your favorite game. So I think, you know, a lot of stuff are going to be enhanced. And you're not going to be trapped to the same game. You're going to have this ecosystem of games where you can take your items, or maybe your house, your horse, or whatever it is. You can take it to different games, and you can have the ownership of it. And you know, the earnings of the game, you can transform it into tokens, for example, and then take it to real life and make some real life money. You know, so maybe gaming is going to become a career itself more than it is today. You know. And so, so in that sense, yeah, to answer Guy's question, I believe the metaverse is going to enhance gaming a lot, definitely a lot.
Yeah, I think Nicolas took us to the high-level philosophy and what the future can hold, and Yingzi kind of dropped us back to the ground to say, okay, but there's still limitations. And Ellie, you speak about the financial aspects of it. And I think one thing that I certainly see is that the gaming industry is probably the best industry to use those new building tools. And I think maybe some aspects of investment can have some value from Web3 aspect, but just dealing with money all day is not fun. But fashion and real world stuff, if they're not taken to the virtual world, is very hard. Games are already there; they are already virtual. We already feel that we live in them. If my unit dies into the breach, I feel really bad. It's really like it hurts me. It's for me, it's real, you know. So. So all of that aspects are really very well and easily translated into metaverse and Web3 concepts. And for example, and Totem is an example of something that's going on today. So it's really a real thing that you can use and try and see some of the games that are already being developed in a very short time in about 20 countries around the world. And we already in the process of creating these games, different games by different people, where you can share the asset. I mean, you can buy an asset and use it in different games when you completely own them. And it's done in a way which is completely native to game developers. Right now, we only have a plugin to Unity, which covers probably 70% of our audience. But when we're done with that, we'll have plugin for every environment, and then the game developers and the players will not have to know anything about crypto wallets, stuff like that. Just enter, create a game, build a game, play a game, and it's already there. It's only starting, but it's already available, and I encourage all of you to check it out.
Yeah, and I think like I believe I have heard something interesting about the accessibility. All right, because like of course in India, in Africa, in Europe, in America, in South America, in each place of the world, we will not have the same hardware, we will not have the same connection, we will not have the same access to all of this world. So yeah, of course, if we like, I speak with a lot of people that say, yeah, I want photorealistic metaverse, blah blah blah. But I say to them, okay, you can have this, but only these kind of people will have access to it, not mass adoption, because it's going to be limited for some hardware and for some different people. If we want to quickly, simply resume, what is happening here is that the open metaverse doesn't exist. So this is why people working on standard and trying to make this more accessible and to make this is massive. What is happening here is that people building microverse. or call this as you want, but this is like just some space into the web or not, where you have IA blockchain and an avatar system, etc. So it's kind of like a game, but you have blockchain behind. So this is a play to earn pseudo metaverse ecosystem. And all of this microverse, I've been building most of them with the idea to get connect to the main open metaverse later on. And this is something that it will be completely different for every people in the world, because this is going to be so massive. So if you want to, the thing is, it's how to imagine the way I'm going to connect my avatars to this open metaverse. So I have my block identity in the blockchain. Okay, so I am the number and the block is this. So this is me, this is Nicolas, and so on. So this is my data wallet, and in my data wallet, I have all my information that I can share or not. This is my choice because this is a blockchain. So I can have inside my characters, my avatars, etc., etc. So this is going to be downloaded to the open metaverse. And behind this, I will have the choice to access to different experience. So some experience will be mostly for the fun, because we don't have to forget also gaming industry is also for the fun, for the pleasure, to connect to each other, but I will have the choice. I will have the choice to go to school. I will have the choice to go to work, or I will have the choice to just go have fun and in a AAA environment or in the Minecraft environment, So this is behind this whole creation system, and all of this is going to come from human's brain, so we all have our idea about what we want to see, so some people want to see some beautiful tree in AAA Unreal Engine, and some other people don't care. They just want to have a massive fighting battle in Minecraft, for example. So what is the main mission here is to how can we build this way to go to connect to each other and having the different choice, and on the same time having the same identity that will be interoperable to each different world and connect to this massive flow of the open metaverse, So this is what is been trying. We all tried in different way try to figure out today is that what we as a human gonna be inside the metaverse. Are we gonna be just an ID? Or are we going to be do we going to have like our real identity inside the blockchain, and with our block we can allow to jump into different space, and doing different things and having this interoperability asset, etc., etc., etc. So this is the big challenge here today is that we have to solve is how can we go into this massive environment, this digital massive environment where everyone wants to put like his mindset into it, So I believe like this is very interesting what is happening here, because and this is very nice that I can see like a lot of people talking about this metaverse standard and trying to figure out how we can build together, and not just like, because what I'm scaring the more is that some just big massive company come and log the thing and say, okay, now, I would not say any name, but we have some name in the head, So this is what I really, really, really love with this Web3 thing and this new metaverse wave is that people want to be together. They want to build together. They want to empower each other, and they want to do this road all together. Of course, behind this, we all have company and we need to do business and we need to eat and children need to eat, blah, blah, blah. But this is the first thing that I see where people just really want to be together and try to do this together, and this is crazy. This is like, I think like humans people need this, and we need to like when you play video game, you can play PvP game, you have fun, but what people love to do, and I remember when I was in World of Warcraft, like you have 10 people that just go to a dungeon, kill a dragon, and they are like just fucking happy, because they down this together, and I believe that. Yeah, this is where you can also find connection between game and metaverse, like doing things together.
I have to say that there's one aspect of this which I will disagree on, and I don't believe there will be a one metaverse. And the reason why I said this, I think there'll be many metaverses and many aspects, but I don't think we'll be able to create an open metaverse. And the reason for that is that right now we're all online, and everybody are online, and we agree on that. But if I was on a Zoom call and you guys were on a Meet, a Google Meet, even this simple aspect, we cannot interconnect. So even simple aspect, it doesn't mean that we're not all online, but we still can't interoperate. So I'm thinking the future, unless you look at metaverse as online, as a very broad term, I think there'll be different metaverses. You might call them microverses, but there'll be separate aspects where we'll be all eventually in one way or the other in the metaverse. But to think that we'll be able to create a single standard that will work for everybody, I from my experience, I think it will not be the future. But I'm very excited to wait another 30 years and see.
Yeah, I think one thing that is really interesting to point out here is that you mentioned like the early days of the internet, as you said, like, and I I think all of us were there, like watching the internet being born and growing and whatnot, and then like switching from Web 1 into Web 2, and now we're switching into Web 3, and so like. Back then, we had no idea of like what it would really become nowadays. As you said, like we couldn't, like, maybe some people would have envisioned it, but like we couldn't really see it happening. Like, that everyone would have a phone, like a little device that you would carry in your pocket, and you would allow you to be connected 24/7 and connect with have a conversation with anyone worldwide and access any information that is available by mankind. So like, I think in that sense, like we couldn't have imagined what was going to happen with the internet nowadays. And I think the same thing is going to happen with the metaverse. I'm not sure if there's going to be like a 100% open metaverse, but I think we're going to find new ways to solve the same challenges, and also the new challenges that are going to be rising in the future of the metaverse and the future of the internet. But what I mean to say is like, I don't believe there's going to be like a 100% open metaverse in the sense of like, like a Google Meet tool can have a conversation with with a Zoom tool, for example. But I believe like each metaverse, and I agree with your definition in that sense, like each metaverse is going to have a functionality. So if you want to, like, some metaverses are going to be focused on gaming, some metaverses are going to be focused on business, some metaverses are going to be focused on social. And I believe each metaverse is going to be an expert in one thing, but at the end of the day, you're going to be able to interoperable then, like you're going to be able to jump from one metaverse to another by carrying all of your assets, and all of your friends are going to be able to do the same. But like maybe not in the sense of like living in both worlds at the same time, which was like what I understood from your comparison with Google Meet and Zoom. But like, I think in a different way, like it's definitely going to be interoperable. But yeah, definitely like one of the challenges, right, that we're going to be facing.
If we want to take a small example, for example, like, remember when the email arrived, right? So when the email arrived, you can connect to some different website with the same ID. So you have like your email, and this email can allow you to connect to this website, this website, this website, this website. And you have the same identity, you have the same picture, you have the same name, you have the same data inside this formula. And I believe that it's going to be the same with the blockchain, but it's going to be with the data wallet, but with more information. And this data information will be secure. So when I say jumping into different world, or like when we all said this, by the way, I think it's going to be in this way. So you will connect your data wallet. This is what we do today with MetaMask or etc. And you will connect your data wallet, and inside this data wallet, going to be secure. You will have your history, your avatars, your assets, and you will be allowed to. This is what in my head I see. This is where I see the interoperability. Because you have this block all connect to each other, and you have like this game that is on the block. You have like this whatever, this school, etc. So all of this is going to be on the blockchain. And now with the technology of the cross chain, for example, that is going up and up, we will solve problems that, for example, if you want to jump to Polygon to Ethereum, or like Solana to Polygon, etc. So you will be able in the next, and this is already almost happening, but of course this is very early, so it still need work in progress. But I believe that it's going to be this. Like, you will just connect your data wallet. So this is going to be your email, your ID, and you will be able to moving into all the chain. So going to Ethereum, to Polygon, etc. And all the application, all the microverse, open metaverse, like it's whatever, let's say everything, going to be built on this, on this block. And this is where the interoperability starts, I think. And if we want to go further with this and to get back to the metaverse standards, I see, like, for example, with the GLB field, that it's going to, this is now on Blender, this is now on Unity, this is now everywhere. The GLB field is a 3D JPEG, so before we was using JPEG to use this image on MySpace, Facebook, etc. But now with the GLB field, we are allowed to use this standard that's creating this I believe that if we all agree to build with some tool and we go with this tool, it's going to be way more easier to make this interaction for all. But this is very early, but this is fantastic, I believe.
Yeah, totally agree. So like the email example, we can also see, like, today we're using browsers and HTML, right? And we still do not have the consensus of having an HTML kind of thing for Metaverse. A lot of bigger actors and also like small creators, they are pushing towards public good and open source code, for instance. I totally agree with Oren that we do not have one Metaverse. And the thing about it is that we don't have one open Metaverse, because open Metaverse is the idea and value to push towards the creativity that is constructed, co-built by all the creators, developers, or not. So yeah, I wouldn't talk more because my co-panelist has mentioned a lot of different aspects, but let's hope and let's start building everything towards that way.
Great words, guys. So I think we are heading to the final part of this moment, unfortunately. So I think now it's time to share your maybe future projects or news, and also bring your last words here.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So of course, the discussion are always very exciting and interesting. It's work in progress. Everybody's doing very different things, but also it is a space that needs collaboration. Specifically, right? Instead of big actors already established, the business model already established. So we are building the next edition of Metaverse Summit, but also we are building a venture firm that is advising early stage startups and builders to not only like a gaming profile, but also blockchain natives, to bring the different kind of profile together. Advising them with our amazing board of advisors who are actually also speakers during Metaverse Summit. So yeah, it's not only about sharing and learning, but also about hands-on, about, specifically operationally, what can be done, what can we learn from other experiences, how can we help each other. So yeah, you are also welcome on board, of course, our wonderful moderator and co-panelists.
Great. I can tell what we're doing at Totem. We're creating a decentralized autonomous organization, basically kind of a co-op that takes together indie game developers and give them a platform where they can create their own game, whatever platform, whatever technology they want to use. Right now, we support Unity, which should work for many of you. And we actually give grants for these projects. We don't take anything in return, like royalties or anything like that. Anyone is welcome. It's a completely open platform, open sourced. Everything is on GitHub, and you are all welcome to join. I think later on, maybe in the notes of the YouTube, there'll be a link to our website. Most of it is hidden behind a password, but I'll tell you that if you go to our Discord, you can see the first thing that you'll get is a password to the website. In terms of news, we are very happy that we're going to participate in the next game jam, and we're going to have a Totem track, so where we will help developers to create games for whatever they like, but on the platform, and we're giving up prizes of $10,000. At least it will be maybe a little bit more later. So you're all welcome to join the Game Jam Plus, of course. And yeah, that's it. Good luck to everybody.
Ready? I go.
Awesome.
You go. Thank you.
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
All right. So we just launched our first NFC collection for the project Utopia, but we got hacked. DDoS attack. So this is something that you guys need to be careful, because this is a cruel world. But what I want to say here is that it's been 1 year and a half that we continue to develop Utopia. So Utopia, it's a project that is being built on Unity, and we built it with Moralis. I don't know if you guys know Moralis, but you check this out also. This is something very interesting when you want to build a Web3 game. And yeah, so we, what we want to bring is to bring the real world in a Pokemon world and a Zelda still world. So we're building a full environment. We're building a story. We believe that you can go in adventure with your friend and earn money by just doing what you love, but because you can engage yourself in a different way, and playing is not bad. Playing is cool, and we believe that playing can be work, and this is what I believe. And behind this, we're going to open also a new company in Dubai very soon, to help people to find IP, because IP in the metaverse is something very interesting. So yeah, I believe that everything it's come from the scratch. Every people have different technology, different thing, but the best way to start it's just by doing and by building. And Unity is great. Unity is open with a lot of IP. And Unreal Engine is very cool also. But if you really want to start to working in this Web3 environment, trying to figure out what you can do and or you can be useful, Unity, WebGL, Moralis, etc., a lot of things that need to be explored. And this is the way it should go. Just go take your computers, open it, and blah, 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 blah. Thank you, by the way, for all the guys.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for the invite. It was really a pleasant conversation. Thank you guys so much. And for us here at Augmentric, which is my agency, and also Metavertising, we're building what we believe is going to be the marketing platform of the future in terms of content creation. And so our goal is really to empower creators to create really immersive content that is going to be the form of entertainment of the future, right? So we're working on that. In parallel to that, we're also organizing an event in London focused on people that want to learn more about the brands, the strategies that brands are employing in order to explore the metaverse, and also focused on marketing in the metaverse in the Web3 environment. But also, which I believe is one of the most important things that doesn't go mentioned very often, is onboarding people from Web 2 into Web 3. And we want to do this event also as a way to onboard marketers from Web 2 into Web 3, because we believe this is also going to be a very important thing of having building the metaverse in the near future, right? We're going to need more people from Web 2 to work in a Web 3 environment in order for us to really are able to, conclude or maybe able to build this vision that we have of the metaverse, right? So for Metavertising the startup, we also have the podcast that you can find on Spotify and iTunes. So please feel free to check that out. And I'm not sure if we're already allowed to share our links to social media, but if you guys want to follow me, it's Eli Santos. Oops, you can find it here, right? You can just follow me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. And you can check the Metavertising podcast, as I said, on Spotify and iTunes. Always looking to educate people from a marketing perspective towards the metaverse. So if you want to learn more, please check that out.
Awesome, guys.
We need builders. Yeah. We need builders. We need a lot of builders. So just come and build with us, please.
Awesome. Great tip for good content related to this topic, Eli. So which is, never too much. So nice to share. Well, I'm very grateful for this moment, guys, to be here, able to share with you. And I'm pretty sure that we have discussed it here was very relevant for those who watch it and maybe serve as discussions on the subject, right? So I'd like to thank each one of you and who participated. If you want to know more about our studio, actually, follow our networks at Hermit Crab Studio. There's a lot of things coming up real soon, and we have a lot of open positions as well for developers. So please follow us. Thank you, guys. And this was the first panel of the second day of warm-up. And in the afternoon, we have this great talk about the Brazilian version of games. Thank you, guys.
Thank you again.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Welcome to the third edition of Warm Up by Game Jump Plus. Here, big names from the game development industry need to keep you updated on this amazing universe. During 3 days, more than 40 guests gathered to present talks in 3 languages in a super online event, open to the entire community. Share this content and help the independent game development ecosystem to stay warm. Subscribe to our social network and enjoy Warm Up 2022. Be our +1.